Hello, this is, I don't know where this video is going to lead, but the subject of this video is about, I've been doing the monthly horoscopes today, and I've been talking a lot about Mars in Scorpio and how powerful that is, and how deep wants to really know it all and explore and put out all the filth, you could say, in order to transform what is really true. And I hope you don't mind the lightning, because I see the lightning isn't perfect, but anyways. And I also just had have seen my friend, a friend of mine. I also had a client, a couple of clients, actually male clients, 2 male clients, and they all had the same subject, and they all had the same problem, you could say. It was they all, well, the 2 male clients and my friend, female, they all have a problem of having an abusive relationship. Now, with abusive, I mean emotionally, psychologically abusive. You could ask yourself, is that worse than physical abuse? I don't know. But that could be worse than, especially when it's on a long term. And I want to talk about this. I certainly don't have all the answers towards that, but as it is now a time, I think, to talk about these things with Mars in Scorpio for such a long time. So probably it is therefore that it's coming up so much in my reality. And so what is this all about? Having an abusive relationship, of course, I'm not talking about people who just get into know someone and they just only know them for a couple of weeks. Or no, I'm talking about people that have a certain pattern. I have like a friend of mine, for instance. She really has that pattern, and she is absolutely, when you see her, she's wonderful. She's talented, she's intelligent, she looks very strong, she is physically also very sportive lady, she is certainly not stupid or not intelligent. I mean, she has a master in languages and so on and so on. So it's certainly not, the first thing I want to say is it's not the dumb people who we almost, as an outsider, seeing this with people happening, you could say, where are their brains? But because it seems like these people have porous boundaries, and they seem to get into a relationship. Like if you say, like my friend, she's a woman, she's a young woman, and she's the people pleaser, you could say, and she falls for those abusive guys that, you know, other people say, what the hell are you doing? And everyone is seeing it, but she kind of doesn't see it. The same with men. Don't think that this only happens to women. On the contrary, I think it's 50-50, to be honest. Certainly I do see a lot of men as clients who, when they enter here, they look very strong, they look very, lately I had he was a Tai Chi instructor, he had muscles like this, very, very strong, but then, you know, he's being too gentle, too nice, playing Mr. Nice man, nice guy, towards his, you know, kind of a bitchy woman, you could say. And then you think, as an outsider, how on earth is that possible? These are not stupid men. These are not stupid women. What is going on here? Now, the basic thing here, what is going on when someone, you know, whether it is a woman or a man who falls for a woman who is abusive towards them, this has to do with pain. This has to do with trauma. This has to do with guilt. This has to do with shame. This has to do, and all these things come, of course, not from yesterday. All these things, and you see that in a natal chart, and you can point a lot of things. You know, if you would name one thing, it's impossible to do so. There are a lot of things that point towards trauma, that point towards, trauma, you could say, is Pluto, porous boundaries is Neptune, and even some signs are more prone to that or to other things. So there is a whole range of possibilities in astrology. But what I'm more interested in is, in investigating where it's coming from. I think that comes from all these things when we were younger and when things happened to us that we were not in control of. And now it follows us, and we kind of attract people that it's like this, when you are kind of a people pleaser, and being super, super gentle and always trying to please others. It's very common, not always, but it's very common when you don't have strict boundaries that people will cross those boundaries and take advantage of you. It's very, it's energies that are finding each other there. Now, what I'm interested in is especially what to do, because these people, people who come to me as clients, they have gone through relationship and they really want to end this, and they really want to turn this around. And when I see this, when there is a possibility of turning around, and often when they come to you for an astrology, for your horoscope, often something is going on that is a possibility to turn this around. But mostly it's a very long transit that is going on, mostly for a Plutonic transit or a Uranus transit. If people are struggling with this kind of issues, like entering abusive relationships, and I don't see any Pluto or Uranus strong transit going on, it's gonna be not for tomorrow. And even when I do see a Pluto or Uranus transit going on, or an emphasis on, like now having Mars in Scorpio is a huge opportunity to stand up for ourselves, but also to dig deep and understand why we are doing the things that we do. Because Scorpio represents the 8th house, and that is the house of secrets, that is the house of taboo, that is the house of our psychological world, our psychological body, you could say. And you can always understand more of digging into that realm, you could say. But at a certain point, you need to practice that. You need to apply this. And therefore, I think when I see people with a Pluto transit, or a Uranus transit, or both of them, on a sun sign, a moon sign, a Venus, or a Mars, especially when it has to do with relationships, those four, then there is a very big chance that these people are going to turn it around. And it'll take certainly a year or more so. And a lot of people panic when I say that, but that's not a long time, 1.5 years to change a pattern that's been going on for ages. So, and what is this all about? Or what is the power to break this through? It is to be active with this, to try to understand this more, where it comes from. Where does that shame come from? And where does that pain come from? And where does that guilt come from? That feeling super responsible for someone that you don't really need to be responsible for, because that's what's happening in those relationships. The one that is abusive has the power, which is a lot of times Pluto, of course, and has that power in their hands and is playing with the person that feels having no power at all. So, but I've seen breakthroughs, and slowly but surely, and that's why I'm making this video, by people trying to dig deep. And this is the Mars in Scorpio now at the moment, wherever it is in your chart now, or if you are struggling with these things, you can dig very deep and try to understand where it comes from. Maybe you need to dig a little bit deeper and to be very honest with yourself. The Mars in Scorpio is really representing that. You can't put things under the carpet and things that are filthy and dirty and all of that. It's better just to face it towards yourself, and then you can transcend it, like the phoenix. That's the beautiful thing about Scorpio. When it goes through a crisis, it is like reborn. And that is what happens also when people have a strong Pluto transit or a strong Uranus transit. It's like these people say, I have enough. I had enough. I cannot bear to do that anymore. I don't want that anymore. And instead of being afraid, I don't want it anymore, and I'll get isolated and I'll never have a relationship anymore, you need to apply yourself. You need to get into new relationships or other relationships, or to work day by day. This is a day-to-day process. But key thing here is respect as well. Respect with yourself. And I think the more boundaries you have with yourself, the more boundaries you have towards yourself, and the integrity as well, the more you try to work on your own integrity, the less you are going to be that, I exaggerate here a little bit with saying people pleaser, whether you're a man or woman. There's no gender here on it, although they tend to say it's more women. But you can have, that's, I don't know. I don't have these representative, I can say I see more men than women here, but maybe, I don't know if that is a representation or not. I'm just one astrologer. So, but I think it's pretty much clear that there is a way out towards this. And the very huge step is like acknowledging it, that you do have a problem or that you do have a challenge, and then not running away from it, and then starting with building up with the respect for yourself. And this is easier said than done. It's a process. Again, when you have a Pluto or a Uranus transit, you will be forced almost to do that. To start to respect yourself, to start to, and you will see when you do that more, when you forgive yourself as well. And forgiving yourself, I mean forgiving yourself for not being strong in the past. Then it makes it softer. It also has to do with wounds, of course, with pain and wounds, and these need a gentleness and a softness to approach. I hear a lot from my friend who says, a lot of people say to me, just end the relationship, done, come on, it's all easy. And people do not understand that. That's not going to help you, is it? That's not going to help anyone. But it's about thinking that you are worth it, self-worth as well, and again, sometimes people think that you look weak then when you're when you look weak and when you don't look strong. It's sometimes people who have a very, who have in the outer world, who have a very strong job, who are therapists themselves. I know someone who's a therapist himself, and they struggle as well. So it doesn't have to mean to say that it is weak when you are in an abusive relationship. Other people can say that, yeah, but it doesn't help you anywhere. It is weak if you would not acknowledge it and not forgive yourself. Then it would be a weak thing, I think. But again, practice and try to transcend this and try to take those steps towards self-love. I know that these people who are in abusive relationships don't like to hear that, because they are so focused on other people that they don't want to hear this, and they feel so responsible, and but that's the way to start with yourself, to start to withdraw yourself a little bit more, if you can, of course, and to deal with it step by step, and to ask for help. To ask for help. You can't do this on your own. If you are in a very abusive relationship, you can't do it on your own. You need people around you who are very grounded, who are very, who have very good boundaries around them, so they can help you. And then step by step, and seeing that you can turn this around. But first you need to understand it, and secondly you need to have the patience. But to work on it on a daily basis, actually, with 2 steps forward, 1 step back, things like that. But I want to make this video to show you that it can be turned around. It can be turned around. I wouldn't be so, otherwise I wouldn't be so coming across quite strong, I think, I hope, with saying this, if I wouldn't have seen it in experience around me. I did. Only a few people, but I'm so proud of them. But it takes a long time. It takes a long time to do so. So, I hope this was helpful. And, you know, it was a bit in the dark, this video, but, you know, Mars in Scorpio is a bit dark, isn't it? Use this energy. Use this energy. You know, the thing about Scorpio is that everyone who's got quite some Scorpio in them, they are big healers. They are big helpers for people to transform and to deal with these things. So Mars is now in Scorpio for such a long time, up until the 7th of March, I think. So make use of it, and then it will be back into Scorpio on the end of May up until the beginning of August. So we have a tremendous long time to dig deep. In everyone will have another area of life, but if you've got that Mars in your 7th house, or in a relationship house, or in a water house going on, it might, and a water house that is the 8th house, or the 12th house, or even the 4th house, it may ask for some work there. So use that Mars to battle that, and yeah, that's it. So I wish you all the best. The monthly horoscopes are very early out, that's for a reason, but that has nothing to do with you. I hope you will enjoy. I hope you will enjoy this Mars in Scorpio. And thank you for watching. Bye-bye.